Council members, please take your seats. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please place all electronic devices to vibrate. Madam Majority Leader.
Good afternoon and welcome to the stated meeting of January 23rd, 2025. I am Majority Leader Amanda Farias, and I'd like to thank you for joining us. If you would like to follow along, the agenda for today's meeting is posted on our website. On behalf of the body, I welcome the members of the public who have joined us here today. During stated meetings, only members of the council may speak. Members of the public shall remain silent. If you wish to express your support of any remarks, you may make the silent approval gesture. Any member of the public who creates a disturbance on the floor will be removed by a sergeant at arms. I want to remind my colleagues that decorum is to be respected at all times. Insulting each other is not appropriate. All remarks are to be addressed to the chair, and members shall not speak unless recognized by the chair. It is essential that even if we disagree, we treat each other with respect.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Roll call.
Abreu.
Present.
Arriola. Arviles.
Presente.
Ayala.
Here.
Banks.
Present.
Botcher. Brannan.
Here.
Brewer.
Here.
Brooks Powers.
Present.
Caban.
Present.
Carr. Della Rosa.
Here.
Dinowitz. Here. Felice. Gennaro. Gutierrez. Hanif.
Here.
Hanks.
Present.
Holden.
Here.
Arriola.
Here.
Hudson.
Present.
Joseph.
Present.
Krishnan.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Lewis.
Present.
Marmorato.
Present.
Marte.
Present.
Mealy.
President. Present.
Menon.
Here.
Moya.
Present.
Narcisse.
Present.
Nurse.
Present.
Osei.
Here.
Palladino. Powers.
Here.
Wrestler.
Here.
Riley. Rivera.
Present.
Palladino. Salam.
Present.
Salamanca.
Present.
Sanchez.
Present.
Shulman.
Here.
Stevens.
Here.
Ung.
Present.
Vernikoff. Williams.
Present.
Yeah. One.
Present.
Zhuang.
Here.
Gennaro. Riley. Vernikov. Borelli. Farias.
Present.
Speaker Adams.
Present.
Thank you. We will now have today's invocation, which will be delivered by Rabbi Joshua Rabin of the Astoria Center of Israel, which is located at 27-35 Crescent Street in Queens.
Speaker Adams, Majority Leader Farias, Councilmember Caban, beloved community, with your permission, let us pray. In Jewish tradition, there is a midrash, a rabbinic legend, that compares the wisdom of our sages to drawing water from a well. It states, Rabbi Hanina taught, Torah is like a deep well full of water, whose waters were cold, sweet, and delicious, but no one was able to drink from it. Then a certain person came along, tied one cord to another, one rope to another, and drew water out of the well to drink. Then everyone else began to draw water and drink from it. What strikes me most about this story is the choice made by this mysterious individual. In this legend, water represents the wisdom of Torah, a spiritual life force for each Jew. And yet after this person labored tirelessly to access the well's water, they shared it freely with others instead of keeping it for themselves. Confronted with the decision to view wisdom as either a scarce or abundant resource, they chose abundance. My friends, those entrusted with our city's leadership, no one enters this world as an enemy to another. So how do so many of us become enemies? Perhaps it is because we failed to embrace the subtle message of this legend. The world is not inherently zero-sum. It does not have to be unless we make it that way. This year, as you begin your session, I pray for all of us to stop seeing each other as enemies. Republicans and Democrats, rich and poor, Christians, Muslims, Tibetans, Jews and atheists, native-born citizens and immigrants, the 9,000 New Yorkers waiting for a life-saving organ transplant, the over 350,000 homeless people in our city, the 91 Israeli hostages still in Gaza, and the millions of Palestinians suffering in Gaza, the almost 3 million transgender Americans, the over 120 million people worldwide displaced last year due to climate change, Yankees fans and Mets fans. The list goes on. None of these people are my enemies, and none of them need to be anyone's enemies. So let's not treat any of them that way. This year, I pray for you, our leaders, that you will become models of what it means to draw wisdom from the well and share it abundantly with all. I offer this prayer in the name of my God and to whomever you may pray. And let us say, Amen.
Thank you. I would now ask Councilmember Tiffany Caban to spread the invocation on the record.
Thank you. Thank you, Rabbi Josh. Rabbi Joshua Rabin serves as rabbi for the Jewish community at the Astoria Center of Israel in Astoria, Queens. Myself and my constituents of all faiths are blessed to have a community leader like Rabbi Josh. His care extends well beyond his congregation. Rabbi Josh is part of interfaith conversations, building relationships across our community to foster safer and healthier neighborhoods. Rabbi Josh is a community and government affairs liaison at Live On New York, a nonprofit organization committed to helping New York live on through organ and tissue donation and to caring for families touched by donation. Through his work as a rabbi and with Live On New York, Rabbi Josh keeps our community spiritually and physically healthy. It has also been an honor to work alongside Rabbi Josh on our district's initiatives on resisting anti-Semitism and hate violence. Anti-Semitism poses a serious danger to our beloved Jewish neighbors and friends, whether it's the graffiti swastikas Queens has unfortunately seen in recent years, or a white nationalist imitating Nazi salutes at the presidential inauguration and spouting anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. We must never tolerate incitement of violence, particularly against a community that has faced brutality and terror for centuries and centuries all over the world. And anti-Semitism is a threat to all of us who identify as part of a marginalized community. Anti-Semitic conspiracy theories form a shared conceptual framework for all types of racist, sexist, queerphobic paranoia and hate. And Rabbi Josh is a faith leader who understands this and takes it seriously, leading the Jewish community and looking out for Astorians of all faiths, including our district's diverse Muslim community. Astoria is lucky to have Rabbi Josh leading us through these times, and I am committed to standing by his side and supporting him along the way. I'm honored to know and work alongside Rabbi Josh, and am grateful for his words of wisdom to ground us in the new year. Thank you. And Madam Speaker and Majority Leader Farias, thank you as well. I make a motion to spread the invocation in full upon the record.
We will now have the adoption of minutes by Councilmember Sandy Nurse.
I make a motion that the minutes of the stated meeting of December 19, 2024, and the charter meeting of January 8, 2025 be adopted as printed.
Messages and papers from the mayor.
M91 through M97, various budget documents.
Finance.
M98, city debt and reserves.
Received, ordered, printed, and filed.
Communication from city, county, and borough offices.
M99 and M100, budget modifications.
Finance.
Petitions and communications.
None.
Land use call-ups.
M101 and M102.
Coupled on call-up vote, I now ask that the clerk take a roll call vote on all of today's land use call-ups.
Abreu.
Aye.
Ariola.
Aye.
Aviles.
Aye.
Ayala.
Aye.
Banks.
Aye.
Botcher. Brennan.
Aye.
Brewer.
Yes.
Brooks Powers.
Aye.
Caban.
Aye.
Carr.
Aye.
De La Rosa.
Madam Majority Leader, I request permission to vote on this and all items on the agenda today.
Permission granted.
Aye or no? Thank you.
Thank you. Dinowitz.
Yes.
Feliz.
Aye and all.
Gennaro.
Aye.
Gutierrez. Hanif.
Aye.
Hanks.
Aye.
Holden.
Aye.
Hudson.
Aye.
Joseph.
Aye.
Krishnan.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Mamarato.
Aye.
Marte.
Aye.
Mealy.
Aye.
Thank you. Menon.
Aye.
Moya.
About aye.
Thank you. Narcisse.
Aye.
Nurse.
Aye.
Ose.
Aye.
Palladino.
Aye.
Powers.
Aye.
Wrestler.
Aye.
Riley.
Aye.
Rivera.
Aye.
Salam.
Aye.
Salamanca.
Aye.
Thank you. Sanchez.
Aye.
Thank you. Schulman.
Aye.
Stevens.
Aye.
Ung.
Aye.
Vernikov.
Aye.
Williams.
About aye.
1.
Aye.
Zhuang.
Aye.
Borelli.
Aye.
Farias.
How about aye?
Speaker Adams.
Aye.
Today's land use call-ups are adopted by a vote of 48 in the affirmative and 0 in the negative. We will now have communication from Speaker Adrian Adams.
Thank you very much, Madam Majority Leader, and good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin, I want to honor Cecile Richards, a relentless champion for abortion rights, reproductive health care, and equality. Her incredible legacy will forever serve as an inspiration and guide as we carry on the fight for this basic civil right, and my heart is with her loved ones and family. I also want to acknowledge the loss of several New Yorkers who died while on the job in the last several weeks due to senseless violence. Amadou Rahman, a yellow cab driver; Robbie Miller, a social worker; Ray Hodges, a USPS postal worker; Peter Forrest, an ambulette driver; and Jose Portillo, a building superintendent. We also lost Ellie William, a construction worker, and Ricardo Lewis, an MTA track worker. We also mourned the life of a senior in Councilmember De La Rosa's district who died in a residential building fire earlier this month. These New Yorkers' lives were cut too short, and I pray for their loved ones and community who are grieving. After 15 months of devastating violence and war in Israel and Palestine, a ceasefire took effect on Sunday. Over the course of these 15 months, too many lives have been lost, families separated, and communities destroyed. There is a lot of work ahead to get us on the path to lasting peace in the region and to rebuild the lives shattered by war. Life is precious. By working together and committing ourselves towards peace, we can ensure a reality where everyone gets to live safely with dignity and security. That's what all people deserve. I also want to take a moment to address the opening actions of the new presidential administration that have been more focused on seeding division and fear than addressing the needs of this country and its people. The initial actions and executive orders have threatened to impose severe harms that can negatively impact millions of New Yorkers in every corner of our city. Instead of solutions to the challenges facing working people in our city and nation, we've seen actions that will increase prescription drug prices, pardon those who attacked our Capitol and police officers, threaten public health, undermine the diversity that has been a critical asset to our country, activate maltreatment of public servants, and much, much more. We are indeed witnessing a weakening of democracy and democratic governance that we should never, ever take for granted, and it demands strong leadership from all of us to preserve. One of the greatest anti-democratic attacks we've seen is the blatant disregard for the U.S. Constitution with the unlawful executive order that claims to overturn the 14th Amendment's principle that all persons born in the United States are citizens. We must remember its history as one of the constitutional amendments adopted after slavery and during Reconstruction. This provided pivotal rights, including citizenship, to my formerly enslaved ancestors. It was furiously opposed then, particularly by Confederate states, which is telling context to understand this current challenge. The most perverted views of our past are indeed returning today. Historically, for our city, the 14th Amendment has granted citizenship to those who make New York City great. New York City's rich African, Asian, Caribbean, European, and Latino communities have built this city and advanced our country forward. The President's executive order to overturn this citizenship clause enshrined in the 14th Amendment is not only unconstitutional, but also abhorrent and ahistorical. We are a nation of immigrants. With the exception of indigenous peoples, if you trace any one of our ancestral histories, you'll find proof of immigration or arrival from nearly every single country in the world. No president possesses the power to change constitutional amendments by executive order, and this city should join the legal challenge to this unconstitutional action. With democracy under attack at the federal level, It is more critical now than ever to have strong local democracy, to maintain freedom, debate through the exchange of ideas, and representative governance. Local and state governments not only have a responsibility to protect their residents, but to also unequivocally commit ourselves to strengthening democracy and asserting our shared values. Together with our constituents and the people of this city, let us unite to protect our democracy, values, and progress, which our ancestors risked their lives to advance for all of us. It is now up to us to protect and grow the seeds of progress to bestow on future generations so that all of us can live full lives of meaning, dignity, and safety. That is especially true in these most challenging of times. Wow. It is fitting that this week we celebrated the life and legacy of the great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King called on all of us to work together to usher in a just world that rejects discrimination, inequality, and poverty. His message inspired people across the entire nation. Dr. King's contributions propelled a movement that continues to influence the entire world. January 13th was Korean American Day, which commemorates the day in 1903 when the first Koreans arrived in the United States. Our historically diverse council includes the first 2 Korean American council members in Linda Lee and Julie Won. We celebrate your historic representation, and we wish all New Yorkers a happy Korean American Day. January 15th was Founders Day for my Sisters of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the first sorority for Black college-educated women. And this year, we celebrated 117 years of sisterhood, scholarship, and service. I am so proud to be a life member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and I am joined in this premier sisterhood by our own majority leader, Amanda Farias. Happy Founders Day, Soror. January 22nd was Roe v. Wade Day, which marks the anniversary of the landmark Supreme Court decision that granted the federally protected right to safe and legal abortions. This year would have been the 52nd anniversary of Roe v. Wade, but with the Supreme Court's actions to overturn 5 decades of legal precedent, reproductive health care for millions of people is under attack across the country. Our historic city council has passed life-saving legislation expanding access to medication abortion at city-run health clinics and invested a record $1 million in annual municipal funds to expand access to abortion care for those who cannot afford it. New York City continues to demonstrate how local governments across the nation can and must take bold action to ensure truly accessible health care and defend reproductive freedom for everyone. January 27th is Holocaust Remembrance Day, when we honor the memories of millions of Jewish people and other victims who were murdered during the Holocaust. We uplift their memories and make a solemn pledge, never again, never forget. January 29th is Lunar New Year, which celebrates the year of the snake. I wish everyone a happy, healthy, and prosperous Lunar New Year. Next, please join me in wishing a happy birthday to Councilmember Susan Zhuang, who is celebrating on January 30th, and Councilmember Shahana Hanif, whose birthday will be on February 5th. Finally, I want to congratulate our very own Sarah Liss, an Assistant Deputy Director in the Legislative Division, on the birth of her beautiful baby boy last week. Congratulations, Sarah, to you and your family. Now, let's move on to our stated agenda. First, we'll vote on the following land use items. Gleason Funeral Home Commercial Overlay, a private application to facilitate the construction of a new accessory parking lot, which will provide 22 additional off-street parking spaces for a funeral home in Councilmember Palladino's district. We will also vote on the following finance item, Preconsidered Resolution 712, sponsored by Councilmember Justin Brannan, to approve the new designation and changes to the designation of certain organizations to receive funding in the expense budget. Today, we'll also vote on the following pieces of legislation. Preconsidered Resolution 713, sponsored by Councilmember Eric Dinowitz and Councilmember Keith Powers, would recognize January 27, 2025 as the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz concentration and extermination camp, and commemorating January 27th annually as Auschwitz Remembrance Day in the city of New York. We thank our staff member, Regina Paul. Resolution 678, sponsored by Councilmember Tiffany Caban, would designate January 31st annually as Cecily Gentili Day in the city of New York to recognize her significant contributions as an author, performer, policymaker, and activist. Once again, we thank Regina Paul for her help. Introduction 100, sponsored by Councilmember Julie Won, would suspend alternate side parking rules for the holiday Losar, also known as Tibetan New Year. We thank our staff members Ricardo Lucia, Connor Mealy, Mark Chen, Kevin Katowski, and John Basile. Introduction 697A, sponsored by Councilmember Sandy Nurse, would require the Department of Sanitation to conduct 2 waste characterization studies, the first of which would examine the residential and institutional waste streams to be due by January 31st, 2028. The second would examine available information on the commercial waste stream and be due by January 31st, 2032. We thank our staff member, Morgan Barrett. Introduction 587A, sponsored by Councilmember Eric Dinowitz, would require the 311 Customer Service Center to conduct customer satisfaction surveys after each individual call and provide the customer with an option to ask for the service request or complaint to be reopened by the agency. 311 would be required to publish information on its website every month. We thank our staff member, Jayasuri Ganapathy. Introduction 77A, sponsored by Councilmember Lincoln Ressler, would reform the current system under which former city employees and public servants are allowed to lobby city government after they have left city service. Under this bill, several former agency heads and employees of the mayor's office, including the chief of staff to the mayor, deputy chief of staff to the mayor, chief counsel to the mayor, chief advisor to the mayor, senior advisor to the mayor, director of intergovernmental affairs, communications director, press secretary, and any public servant who directly reports to the mayor would be barred from lobbying any city agency for 2 years. We thank our staff members, Jayasuri Ganapathy, Erica Cohen, and David Seitzer. Finally, we will vote on a package of legislation that I first outlined in my 2024 State of the City address to advance peer-based mental health solutions for our city's youth. The Council held a series of listening sessions with stakeholders to better understand the struggles of young New Yorkers and possible solutions. The bills are the result of listening sessions with advocates, service providers, and youth that aim to provide students with tools and resources that support their well-being. They represent the 4th stop of the Council's mental health roadmap, a comprehensive evolving plan to improve mental health outcomes for New Yorkers. Introduction 1103A, sponsored by Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala, would require the NYPD within 48 hours of a determination that a violent or traumatic incident has occurred to notify the Mayor's Office of Community Mental Health of such incident. A violent or traumatic incident is defined as any incident or series of incidents that can cause severe emotional and mental distress to the public. Upon receiving notice of a violent or traumatic incident, OCMH would be required to conduct outreach to local community members regarding the availability of mental health resources in the city, such as the 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline. Introduction 996A, sponsored by Councilmember Althea Stevens, would require the Commissioner of Health and Mental Hygiene to offer peer-based mental health literacy training to public middle and high school students. The Department of Education would have to distribute informational materials concerning the availability of this training to public middle and high schools each academic year. Introduction 989A, sponsored by Councilmember Linda Lee, would require the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene to create student wellness club toolkits to help guide middle and high school students on how to create peer-led student wellness clubs. The bill would also require the Department of Education to post guidance on its website on how to start a student club and make the student wellness club toolkits created by DOHMH available to all middle and high school students. And Introduction 986A, sponsored by Councilmember Rita Joseph, would require the city to develop a 2-year pilot program to involve mental health professional candidates in student wellness clubs at public middle and high schools. These professional candidates, such as individuals studying to become licensed social workers, would facilitate student discussions and workshops on various mental health topics. Thank you to our staff members, Sarah Sucher, John LaRosa, Sarah Liss, and Smita Dekshmuk. Thank you for your attention. Now I would like to turn it back over to our Majority Leader.
Thank you, Speaker, and happy Founders Day, Sora. Report of special committees. Clerk. Oh. Sorry about that. Just a quick typo on my agenda. We're going to move to the discussion of general orders, and I'd like to recognize Council Member Juan, followed by Ressler, then Dinowitz.
Tashidelek. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Majority Leader, Madam Speaker. On this auspicious day, we are voting on Intro 100, my bill to recognize Losar, also known as Tibetan Lunar New Year, by adding it to the New York City's alternative side parking calendar. It's an honor to celebrate this historic day with our 61,000 Tibetan Buddhist neighbors from Tibet, Nepal, Bhutan, India, and across the Himalayas, as well as the 100 Tibetans who have joined us today in this celebration. By recognizing Losar, we're giving visibility to a community whose political and civic engagement made today possible. And as we heard compassionately from our speaker's heart, as we have a new elected president who is shutting down and suspending refugee resettlement, this is a clear step and sign and evidence of our recognition and our values of our refugee community members. These Tibetan refugee members have shared their heartaches, their fight to preserve the Tibetan language, their culture, and their dream for a free Tibet. So this bill was a result of a tireless community advocacy of grassroots organizing. In September, at a hearing chaired by Councilmember Brooks Powers, nearly 1,000 Himalayan New Yorkers sent in their written testimony and attended the hearing. And we have had lines of residents to wait 5 hours for the hearing, and the passing of Intro 100 will take effect next month on Losar, which is February 28, 2025, just in time so that our neighbors will be able to enjoy the holidays without having to worry about getting a ticket. So I want to thank all of the 36 council member colleagues, the 3 borough presidents for co-sponsoring this bill, and I urge my colleagues to vote yes, and I would be remiss if I did not thank my Chief of Staff, Nick Golota, as well as our all-star Tibetan community liaison and budget coordinator, Kaesang Yatso. Thank you so much to all the organizers who are here. Please join us for the celebration afterwards.
Recognizing Councilmember Ressler, followed by Dinowitz and Stevens.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I just first want to apologize if I'm somewhat incoherent and sleep deprived. I'm thrilled to be with you all today. Sorry to be away from my little baby Elliot, but appreciative that my wife and parents are with him and allowed me to come in to discuss this critical new legislation, Intro 77A. You know, we've all seen an explosion of lobbying in New York City over the last decade. Lobbyists spent $131 million last year to influence policymakers, twice as much as a decade ago. And while we all rely on policy expertise, external expertise to help make informed decisions, we have to ensure that special interests don't have outsized influence in determining outcomes in government. Our lobbying laws have absolutely failed to restrict the most powerful people in the mayor's office from capitalizing on their public service for personal gain. That is exactly what the mayor's chief of staff, Frank Carone, did. From a corner office across the building in City Hall, he freely admitted to creating a lobbying practice while still working in city government. And when he left city government, the very next day, the most powerful person in the mayor's office was permitted to lobby 99% of the mayor's staff, 99% of mayoral agencies. This is legalized corruption, and our legislation slams the door shut on the revolving door. It also, and considering, frankly, the many scandals that have plagued the Adams administration, this is a critical moment for all of us in government to help restore the public trust, to help restore the confidence that New Yorkers have that we are governing on their behalf, not working to enrich ourselves. I'd really like to thank the folks who worked on this bill, especially Committee Counsel Jayshree Ganapathy, David Seitzer for his expert guidance, Jeff Baker, Jeremy John, Faiza Ali, Mandela Jones. Really want to thank the Speaker for her ethical leadership of this body. And I just lastly want to thank my Chief of Staff, Molly Haley, who cares more about ethical government than anyone I know, has been a tremendous partner for me on everything we do in our office, but especially on this bill. So thank you so much and hope you all support it.
Recognizing Councilmember Dinowitz, followed by Stevens, then Joseph.
Thank you, Majority Leader. You know, our job as government officials is to make sure New Yorkers have a voice in government and that we are responsive to them. And we have a mechanism in New York City to do that. It's 311. But any New Yorker who's used 311 has probably experienced the frustration of seeing their case closed, typically prematurely. And whether they're complaining about a pothole on the street, garbage, their apartment not being warm, often they put that complaint into the app only to see it closed without their problem being resolved. And unfortunately, so many of our constituents don't have a way to express their frustration or express and share feedback that their needs were not met. We've gotten those calls at our office. I know so many of you in this body have gotten those calls in our office as well. And that's why Intro 587A is so important. What it does is it simply says that after a case is closed, the 311 system asks, how'd we do? And it allows the user to provide feedback. Ideally, we want that feedback to be great. We want our government and our agencies to be responsive of the needs, but it also allows users to say, I'm not satisfied with my service and my case was closed prematurely. And additionally, this bill provides monthly reports so we as a council, we with the oversight authority, can ensure that our city agencies are being responsive to our constituents, are meeting the needs of our constituents, and that they are being serviced, and that they are not closing these cases prematurely. So with this bill, we'll get more transparency in government and a more responsive government. Thank you, Majority Leader, for the time, and thank you to the entire council staff, my Chief of Staff, my Legislative Director, and everyone who worked on this bill.
Recognizing Councilmember Stevens, followed by Joseph.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Our young people are navigating a complex world, and it is imperative that we not only equip them with the knowledge to identify mental health, but also empower them with the supports that are effective and necessary. I'm happy and hopefully passing Intro 996A, legislation that will establish a peer-based mental health program for all New York students, a critical tool in our fight against growing mental health crises among young people. This legislation will not just be about a training, it will be about changing the culture within schools to have more empathy, understanding, and proactive support by fostering a community where students look out for one another and they can be equipped and have ripple effects of awareness and assistance that extend far beyond the classroom. I would like to thank my colleague Linda Lee, who has been championing the mental health roadmap throughout the last couple of years in council, and our fearless speaker, Adrienne Adams, and all of the council staff that worked on this legislation. And I ask all of my colleagues to please vote yes. Thank you.
Recognizing Councilmember Joseph.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Intro 986 established a pilot program to involve mental health professional candidates in student wellness clubs at public schools and middle schools. Middle schools and high schools. This bill requires a mayor-designated agency or agencies to implement the pilot program in schools that choose to participate. This program addresses the need for accessible mental health support in our schools. By engaging mental health professional candidates, we can expand resources and help foster a culture of wellness for our students. I look forward to the agency and the agency's feedback to refining this initiative further. My deepest gratitude to everyone who worked on this bill. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Linda Lee, Councilmember Lee, for the support and the roadmap, and I urge all my colleagues to vote yes, and together we can make meaningful differences in the lives of our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else signed up to speak. Report of special committees.
None.
Reports of standing committees.
Report of the Committee on Finance, Preconsidered Reso 712, Transparency Reso.
Coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Governmental Operations, State and Federal Legislation, Intro 77A, Post-Employment Lobbying.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Intro 587A, 311, Survey Data.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Land Use, LU 206 and Reso 728, Gleason Funeral Home.
Coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Mental Health, Disabilities, and Addiction, Intros 986A and 989A, Student Wellness Clubs.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Intros 996A and 1103A, Student Mental Health Resources.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Sanitation and Solid Waste Management, Intro 697A, Waste Characterization Studies.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, Intro 100, Alternate Side Parking Regulations.
Coupled on general orders, I now ask that the clerk take a roll call vote on all of the items coupled on today's general orders calendar.
Abreu.
Aye.
Ariola.
I'm no on 7A and preconsidered Reso 712. And aye on the rest.
Thank you. Aviles.
Aye.
Ayala.
Aye.
Banks.
Aye on all.
Botcher. Brannan.
Aye.
Brewer.
Yes.
Brooks Powers.
I vote, I vote aye on all, and I'd like to congratulate all my colleagues passing bills today, especially Councilmember Juan on this LOSAR bill out of the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, recognizing how important of a holiday this is to those who observe, and so I look forward to celebrating with you all later too.
Thank you. Caban.
Aye on all.
Carr.
Be voting no on Introduction 77A and Preconsidered Resolution 712, and aye on the rest.
Dinowitz.
Aye and all.
Feliz.
Aye and all.
Gennaro.
Aye.
Gutierrez. Hanif.
Aye on all.
Hanks.
I vote aye on all with the exception of Intro 77A and Preconsidered Resolution 712. Thank you.
Thank you.
I vote no. Sorry.
Thank you, Councilman. Holden.
Aye on all except for Reso 712, which I vote no.
Thank you. Hudson.
Aye on all.
Joseph.
Aye on all.
Krishnan.
Aye on all, and to my Himalayan communities, Tashi Delik.
Thank you. Lee.
Aye on all, and congratulations to everyone passing bills today.
Lewis.
Aye on all.
Marmorato.
Sorry. I vote aye on all with the exception of Intro 77A and Preconsidered Resolution 712, for which I vote no.
Thank you. Marte.
Aye on all.
Mealy.
Aye on all.
Thank you. Menon.
Aye on all.
Moya.
I vote aye.
Thank you. Narcisse.
Aye on all.
Nurse.
Aye on all.
Osei.
Aye on all.
Palladino.
Aye on all except for Intro 77A and Preconceived Reso 712, on which I vote no.
Thank you. Powers.
Aye.
Wrestler.
Aye.
Riley.
Aye on all, with the exception of Intro 77A, which I'm a no.
Rivera.
I vote aye.
Salam.
Vote aye.
Salamanca.
No on Intro 77A, and aye on all.
Thank you. Sanchez.
Aye.
Thank you. Schulman.
Aye and all.
Stevens.
Aye and all.
Thank you. Ong.
Aye and all.
Vernikov.
Aye on all except no on Intro 77A and Preconsidered Reso 712.
Thank you. Williams.
I vote aye.
1.
Aye on all. Losar Tashidelek.
Zhuang.
Aye on all except Reso 712. I abstained.
Thank Borelli.
Aye on all except Intro 77A and Preconsidered Reso 712.
Farias.
I vote aye on all.
Speaker Adams.
I vote aye.
All items on today's general order calendar are adopted by a vote of 48 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 0 abstentions, with the exception of Intro 77A, which was adopted by a vote of 39 in the affirmative, 9 in the negative, and 0 abstentions, and Resolution 712, which was adopted by a vote of 39 in the affirmative, 8 in the negative, and 1 abstention. Introduction and reading of bills.
All bills have been referred to committee as indicated on today's agenda.
Thank you. We will now move into the discussion of resolutions, and I'd like to recognize Councilmember Caban, followed by Dinowitz.
Thank you. Today, I am urging my colleagues to support the passage of a resolution that honors the late, great Cecilia Gentili. Cecilia was a fearless leader, a trans icon, an author, an actress, a pioneering advocate for the dignity and freedom of sex workers. She expanded access to health care for so many trans New Yorkers and is known for so much more. She wasn't merely an ally in other liberation fights. She was a co-conspirator who put her body on the line for anyone facing exploitation, discrimination, or persecution. Cecilia was a very formative figure in my life, a super special, impactful person. She held such an important role in the social spaces and community I moved through. And since she's passed away, I've met lots of new people and have discovered that she held the same kind of space and presence in their lives and community, and it's pretty amazing. And even though Cecilia is no longer with us, her impact lives on and is magnified by every person who knew her. Her energy was infectious. She was profoundly funny and sharp, brilliant, open and honest about her struggles with substance use, and she said exactly what needed to be said every time. I really, really miss her. And to close, may your memory be a joyous, hilarious, visionary, fearless revolution, and may our city's new Cecilia Gentili Day, should it pass, serve as a testament to that revolution. So I just ask my colleagues to support it as well. Thank you.
Recognizing Councilmember Dinowitz.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today we're voting on a resolution to make January 27th Auschwitz Remembrance Day, and to remember, this dark moment in our history. The Torah, the sacred Jewish text in Hebrew, doesn't have a word for history. That word doesn't exist in the Torah. Instead, the concept of history is expressed through memory, through remembrance. And when we remember something, when we have a memory of something, it is part of who we are. And with the passage of this resolution, we are declaring that New York City remembers Auschwitz and the Holocaust. But perhaps, I can't say too well, but Elie Wiesel, Holocaust survivor and Nobel laureate, always had a way of saying things. He said, memory is a passion no less powerful or pervasive than love. What does it mean to remember? It is to live in more than one world, to prevent the past from fading, and to call upon the future to illuminate it. And with the passage of this resolution, New York City is preventing the past from fading. And I want to thank the Speaker for moving this resolution forward, and to Regina Paul for drafting this resolution.
Seeing no one else signed to speak. Okay, we will now have a voice vote on today's resolutions. If you wish to vote against or abstain from any of today's resolutions, please notify the Legislative Documents Unit by email or by approaching the dais. I'll now read today's resolutions into the record. Resolution 678 designates January 31 annually as Cecilia Gentili Day in the City of New York to recognize her significant contributions as an author, performer, policymaker, and activist who fought for the rights of undocumented immigrants, sex workers, and LGBTQIA+ individuals. Will all those in favor say aye? All opposed say nay. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Pre-considered Resolution 713 recognizes January 27, 2025 as the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz concentration and extermination camp, and commemorating January 27th annually as Auschwitz Remembrance Day in the City of New York to honor the memories of the over 1 million Jews and tens of thousands of others who died brutally there at the hands of Nazis during World War II. Will all those in favor say aye? All opposed say nay. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. We will now move into general discussion, and I'd like to recognize Councilmember Arreola, followed by Osei and Lee.
Thank you. We have seen an increase in illegal, unlicensed street vendors setting up daily in our business districts throughout New York City. They take up the sidewalks, often setting up in front of businesses and taking spots that should often be utilized by licensed vendors. Oftentimes, they're selling the same items at significantly reduced pricing. Business owners who are paying high rents, taxes, and licensing fees to stay in business are being pushed out by these bad actors. We're seeing an increase in empty storefronts along these merchant corridors, and mom and pop shops cannot compete with these vendors who are not following health department regulations or laws of our city. Many times, the police department and DSNY are called, and they have no way of verifying whether or not the vendor is licensed and if they have been subject to enforcement before. That is why I'm introducing Intro 1164, a bill that would require the Office of Street Vendor Enforcement to create a portal that would allow all agencies enforcing street vending laws to regulation and share enforcement-related information. The Office of Street Vendor Enforcement would also ensure that each enforcement agency had the capability to verify the authenticity of the vendor's license. This bill will make sure that New Yorkers are purchasing items that are safe and will protect our small business owners and legal street vendors who are the backbone of our communities from being pushed out. I appreciate it if all of my colleagues would sign on to this bill. It really does help our legal street vendors and our small mom and pop shop owners. Thank you for the time.
Recognizing Councilmember Osei, followed by Lee, then Stevens.
Thank you, Madam Majority Leader. Today, I am reintroducing Introduction 1176, or known as the CURB Act. The right to assembly and peaceful protest is enshrined clearly in the First Amendment of the Constitution. The NYPD Strategic Response Group has proven to consistently violate that right. This bill would restrict their ability to do so. I urge all my colleagues who share my commitment to the First Amendment and its protections to support this legislation. All New Yorkers deserve to exercise their right to protest and assemble, and they deserve to exercise this right with safety and dignity. I want to thank Michael Sadzitsky and Isabel Leyva of the New York Civil Liberties Union for their partnership and advocacy of this bill, and I urge my colleagues to sign on. Thank you, Madam President.
Recognizing Councilmember Lee, followed by Stevens, then Carr.
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker, Majority Leader, and colleagues. Today, I am proud to be introducing 1174. This legislation would allow vulnerable and homebound New Yorkers to self-identify and register themselves with the Office of Emergency Management. This would incorporate them into the city's emergency response planning and help facilitate their rescue and assistance in the event of an emergency, like some of the ones that we've seen recently. Similar measures in Europe that count factors like chronic disease, age, and socioeconomic status prevented close to 50% of possible deaths during recent heat waves. Recent disasters have shown us how important it is to have precise and effective emergency services. Reducing response time and saving the maximum number of lives can't happen without knowing where our most vulnerable neighbors are and how best to help them. And so again, this would be an opt-in for our vulnerable populations. Every second and every life counts for our city, so I hope that you can join me in this effort. Thank you.
Recognizing Councilmember Stevens, followed by Carr, then Hudson.
Today I'm introducing Intro 1177, aiming to codify existing requirements for chain restaurants to post sodium warnings and expand those requirements to all restaurants regardless of size, in addition to mandating notification for added sugars. Across New York City, we have communities that suffer from inadequate access to healthy food options. Those food deserts disproportionately impact low-income neighborhoods, contributing to high rates of chronic illness such as hypertension, diabetes, and heart disease. I would like to encourage all of my colleagues to sign on. Thank you.
Recognizing Councilmember Carr, followed by Hudson, then Holden.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Colleagues, today I'm introducing Introduction 1166 with Deputy Speaker Ayala, which would require the Department of Homeless Services to give a notification whenever they're going to renew an emergency shelter contract to the relevant council member, borough president, and community board. I think no matter where we stand on the migrant crisis of the last several years and the need for homeless shelters in a more general sense, I think we all agree that the administration of the day should be transparent with the community's representatives and letting them know when they're going to renew an emergency contract, which is not along the same rushed nature of when you initially open an emergency shelter. These renewal decisions, I believe, are made well in advance, and it also affords an opportunity to those elected officials and community organizations to give an opinion to DHS about whether or not the shelter renewal is warranted or not. And so I urge all my colleagues, in the interest of transparency, to sign on to Introduction 1166 and support this piece of legislation. Thank you.
Recognizing Councilmember Hudson, followed by Holden, then Joseph.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today I'm reintroducing a resolution that this body approved 2 years ago, not because we didn't get it right the first time, but because the urgency has only grown. And I want to thank Speaker Adams for your unwavering and resolute message earlier. In 2023, we passed Resolution 556, which urged Albany to approve the Access to Representation Act, which guarantees the right to legal representation to all New Yorkers, regardless of citizenship status. As a city, we have rejected the idea that immigrants facing deportation or detention should be denied civil and legal protections. And now, more than ever, we need the state to pass this vital legislation and show that it, too, still stands strong with immigrant communities across New York. We're witnessing a troubling rise in xenophobia across the nation and a new presidential administration that has quite literally campaigned on dehumanizing immigrants. But here in New York, we know the truth. Without immigrants, this city and this nation would not thrive. That's why, alongside Chair Aviles, I'm introducing another resolution, Resolution 717, urging our state legislators to pass A270 and S141, which is crucial to protecting all New Yorkers from the threats that endanger their safety and fundamental rights. I urge you to join me once again and co-sponsor Resolution 717. Thank you.
Recognizing Councilmember Holden, followed by Joseph.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Colleagues, today I'm introducing 6 bills that tackle several pressing issues facing our city, and I urge you to sign on and support these important bills. Intro 1170 will establish ferry service to LaGuardia and John F. Kennedy International Airports. For many years, the city has underused its waterways. This intro will expand upon our established ferry service and provide a much-needed alternative for travelers and commuters to get to these airports. It'll take cars off the road. So let's use our waterways. We're also addressing the needs of pet owners and animal welfare. Intro 1172 with Councilmember Schulman will create a citywide pet food pantry program to ensure that pets remain healthy and in loving homes, while Reso 716 with Councilmember Palladino urges the New York State Legislature to strengthen animal cruelty laws by codifying them in the penal law and increasing penalties for offenders. So you can abuse one dog and pay the same price fine as you would, or incarceration if you abuse 20 dogs. So there's no difference, and that was given to me by DA Melinda Katz. Protecting animals and supporting responsible pet ownership should be a top priority for all of us here in the council. And public safety remains a top priority. Intro 1173 with Public Advocate Williams and Council members Vernikov, Narcisse, Moya, and Schulman will require bicyclists to wear protective headgear, helping to prevent injuries and promote responsible cycling in our city. And supporting our veterans is very essential, and certainly Intro 1171 will conduct a feasibility study on a pilot program to provide reconsolidation of traumatic memories, or better known as RTM, therapy for our veterans. It works, and we should work on it to certainly come up with a pilot program. Thank you all. Thank you.
Recognizing Councilmember Joseph, followed by Schulman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader and colleagues. Today I'm introducing my resolution alongside my colleagues, Councilmember Stevens, Narcisse, and Schulman. Resolution 718 calls on New York City State Education to implement oral education for all elementary students. Through this resolution, we're urging the New York State Education Department to adopt oral health education in elementary schools to ensure children learn proper brushing and flossing techniques. I invite my colleagues to join me in co-sponsoring this resolution so we can pass this vital measure for the benefit of our children, their families, and society as a whole. Healthy children are a gift to both society and the economy. Thank you.
Recognizing Councilmember Schulman.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I have a number of resolutions here, but I'm just going to refer to a couple of them. One is calling upon the U.S. Congress to pass and the President to sign H.R. 2665. Wait, I'm sorry, not that one. A resolution calling upon the New York State Legislature to pass and the Governor to sign legislation that would eliminate deductibles, co-payment, co-insurance, or any other cost-sharing requirements for asthma inhalers. And then a resolution calling upon the New York State Legislature to pass and the Governor to sign legislation also known as the Protecting Animals Walking on the Street Act, PAWS, to add the term companion animals to the list of possible victim classes should a driver fail to exercise due care to avoid striking pedestrians, and to increase the fine for striking a pet with a vehicle and leaving the scene without reporting the incident. Thank you. I ask my colleagues to please sign on to those resolutions.
Thank you. Seeing no one else signed up to speak, I'll now call on Speaker Adrienne Adams to close today's stated meeting.
Thank you, Madam Majority Leader. The stated meeting of January 23rd, 2025 is hereby adjourned.